Hi everyone, my name is Alex Bennett from CQ University and I'm here today to talk to you about an exercise intervention aimed at increasing participation in sport for children 8 to 11. But before I begin talking about the goals and methodology of this exercise intervention, I'd like to briefly explain why this type of intervention is important for you. So childhood obesity is an alarming issue of which has increased in prevalence in recent years. In addition to this, 23% of primary school age children did not meet the national guidelines for physical activity. According to a report by Australia's Health in 2016, 19% and 7% of children were classified as overweight or obese respectively. To put this in simpler terms, this statistic shows that 1 in 5 of you guys aren't participating in enough physical activity, and I'm here to try and change that. So this inactivity can have huge health consequences, primarily cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and can lead to various types of cancer in adulthood. So now that you understand how important physical activity is, the reason we want you to increase your participation in exercise is because of how important having a healthy lifestyle is while you guys are young. So the goal of this exercise intervention is to engage you in more physical activity through a holistic approach, which means big involvement from your parents, teachers, as well as us to get you guys moving and having fun. An article by Srinivasan in 2014 really highlights the key things I've been saying here, in that promoting an exercise intervention that includes the parents and peers of all you is going to help us reach our goals much easier. Mahmood in 2014 also agrees with what we're striving for here, and that more attention should be placed on environments and cultural practices in order to better support the individual needs that you all have. Along with this, Burke in 2014 also tested a holistic exercise program relative to primary school children like yourselves, and found a positive change in not only fitness and BMI, but also student knowledge and behaviours. So as you can see from this research, it's really vital for you guys to get involved and get active, and we've designed an exercise plan for you to have fun while doing it. So now I'm going to quickly describe to you how this is all going to happen. So this exercise intervention will go for 12 weeks, and in that time there will be 36 different exercise sessions. That'll be 3 times per week that will get you guys engaged and enjoying physical activity. However, only half of the people that partake in this exercise intervention will participate in these sessions, which I'll explain to you now. So what we'll do, we'll divide you guys into 2 groups, one being the intervention group and the other being called the control group. Those of you in the intervention group will be instructed to increase the steps you do per day to at least 2,500 over what they are now. Now I know this may sound like a lot, but the week before the 12-week period we will record how many steps you do in a day so you know what to aim for. And you might be surprised at how many steps you actually do per day. The way we will track how many steps you take is through the use of an instrument called a pedometer, which will just be like wearing a watch. The people in the control group will just keep all their current exercise and steps the same as they are right now. Along with the physical exercise component, you guys will also complete what's called a 3-day food recall questionnaire at the beginning and the end of the 12-week period. It's quite self-explanatory in a sense where you will just record everything you eat across those 3 days as best as you can. So I'll just quickly touch on a study by Crawford in 1994 where he compared the 3-day food record to the 24-hour recall and the 5-day record, and actually found that the 3-day record to have a least chance of bias, so that's why we're using it in this exercise intervention. I'll encourage your parents to get involved with this one too, along with this next part. So there's also another questionnaire called the Godin Leisure Time Questionnaire, which only has 2 questions, and it will only have to be completed once at the very beginning. So now that we've got all that out of the way, we can talk about the fun stuff. The exercise sessions you guys will be doing, should you want to partake in this study, will involve a range of different sports and exercises. For example, the first week we might focus on a specific sport like indoor soccer, and the next week we might play softball. The idea here is that there will be a lot of variety in the physical activity you guys do, so that the people participating in the exercise sessions don't get bored. I'd now like to show you and explain what a typical exercise session would look like. So as you can see here on this slide, sessions will change week to week, and we really encourage input from you as to what we're going to do with these sessions. We'll also use the Godin questionnaire to make sessions based off what your current physical activity methods are, and we'll try to cater around that to ensure that you guys enjoy yourselves. And this is a really good opportunity to also list some sports that you'd like to learn down, so that we can try and incorporate these too. And below, as you can see in table 1, is what a standard session would look like. So the sport here is indoor soccer, and it would consist of a warm-up, passing and moving around, a half-court game, a penalty shootout, and lastly a stretching and cool-down session. So each session will go for an hour and you'll have 3 of these per week. Now lastly, I'd like to quickly touch on how we practitioners are going to measure how much of a positive effect this exercise will have on you guys. So the outcomes that will be assessed and tested will be anthropometrical data such as age and years, weight in kilograms, height in centimetres or metres, BMI as a percentage, and waist circumference in centimetres. Each of these characteristics will be documented prior to the intervention, as well as after the intervention is complete for comparison. And importantly, each participant in both the control and intervention groups will be instructed to maintain current dietary habits, so that means continuing to eat what you are now without any sort of change. Comparisons will also be drawn from the steps you guys take, the physical activity sessions, and the 3-day food recall. So that's basically what this exercise intervention is all about. The key goal here is for you guys to get excited about participating in exercise, because it really is so important. I can't stress that enough. And one last thing, I'd like to thank all of you for listening to my presentation today, and I can't wait to get started on creating some really fun and exciting physical activity sessions for you guys to have fun and engage with your friends in. So I hope you all got something out of today's session, and are hopefully really interested in taking part in what will be not only a really great thing for your health, but also a way to get active during school hours. Thanks for listening.